Greetings, lovely people. Welcome once again to this short message. And today I'm going to talk about consciousness and how it is divided into two. You are most welcome. So, as you know, we have the objective consciousness, and this is that instance whereby you find that it is sort of in a collective manner. That is when now we are seeking our purpose, to know ourselves better, and in most cases this consciousness has a goal. It involves everyone's point of view, and it goes hand in hand with what reality is to everyone, the way they seem to see reality, and it is non-identified, which means that it doesn't identify with the self. It is a collective one. And we have the subjective consciousness, and this one deals with the inner being, our inner defects. I can say whatever we are within as individuals. It has no conscious goal. It deals with my point of view. It majorly goes with what somebody believes. That is our inner world when we identify with who we are, how we feel, how we think, and the desires of our hearts and what we do as individuals. That is now the subjective consciousness. And so to break this further down, we have the soul, which is 97% energy, and we have the spirit, which takes 3% of light. That means it takes 3% of the sun. Now, the 97% energy, that is the soul, is trapped by the ego to carry out a learning process. In all our egoic expressions, we have a percentage of consciousness trapped. That is in our expressions of lust, anger, bitterness, envy, pride, etc. There is a well-defined percentage of consciousness we must rescue. Our 3% will be responsible for helping us free up the 97%. And that is the spirit, which takes 3%, is responsible for us to free the soul energy that takes 97%. So the 3% makes up or I can say makes up our spirit. It's the divine spark in each one of us, and it is self-conscious. And so it is objective, it is wisdom, and it is light. Therefore, it cannot be conditioned by the ego. So beware that the spirit is never conditioned by the ego. It is the soul that is conditioned by the ego. So when we talk about the subjective consciousness, we are talking about the 97% soul energy that is trapped by our ego, and it's processed under the conditioning of the ego. So in most cases, we've heard the phrase that being born again. So for this instance, it means that when you get born again, it is mainly the death of the ego, and thus the 97% essence is released to freedom, so that it can connect with our true self. The essence is fire and light, awe, encouragement, and wisdom, conditioned by our psychological defects. The greater the amount of 97% essence released, the greater the self-awareness of a person. So if you find that there is a person who's self-aware, a person who has gotten enlightened or awakened, that person has already freed the 97% essence that is always trapped by the ego. How is this done? So, for instance, currently Our physical strength is normally trapped by our anger, and our anger uses it to harm others. Now, this is an example of how our psychological defects cause harm. And in most cases, many of us do not dare to change our ways or work on our inner selves so as to release the 97% essence that is trapped by the ego. Now, our sexual potency can also be conditioned by lust to satisfy our carnal desires, and thus degenerate us more and more. Beware that our sexual potency, when it is used in this manner, it actually depletes us, it degenerates us. It makes us weak vessels. It places us in a state of being whereby we are constantly desiring to just be like having someone sexually. And that is actually put in place strategically to keep us in a state of being whereby our minds are carnal. We will never think straight when our minds are carnal. This is the reason as to why everything is always commercialized seductively. This is why you will find that women are on the forefront, being used as objects to sell products. That is because every male figure has been conditioned in their thoughts to think in terms of carnality. All they have in their mind, each and every time, you'll find that everywhere, that is what they will be looking at. They are actually sick in their thoughts. Their psychological defect, which is lust, is magnified to the core. And so, each of our defects has a portion of our essence subdued, the 97% that we need to free up. So, friends, when we are being told that we need to get born again, yes, we will get inside that water, because most of us, that is what we believe. But if we come out and we find that we are still struggling with those inner demons, with those inner defects, then it means we've done nothing. And if we stay like that, it means that we are simply wolves in sheep's clothing. We are just hiding in getting born again, but in real sense, all those defects are operating behind the scenes. Some of them just are like, I can say, they operate subconsciously. That is just a mess. This is why we have so many problems. So, in order for us to be completely free, we have to be freed from our inner defects. We have to learn ways to free ourselves, or to free the 97% essence from our psychological defects. And none whatsoever is lacking these defects, unless one has worked for a better upbringing, or one has done what is called shadow work. Shadow work is what clears or removes or uninstalls all those defects that are actually working against us achieving the 100% that is supposed to be a connection between the 97 and the 3% spirit essence. And this way we can get to evolve our consciousness, and this way we can get to operate using our higher selves, not using our, I can say, reptilian mind. We have what is called a reptilian mind, and this is a topic of another time. But until then, I hope you've grasped that the consciousness is divided into two, and that is how you get to release it, by dying every day from the ego, by being born again every day, each and every second. Now, lovely friends, best of regards. Till next time, see you.